3 knocks. That's all it took to destroy everything Ryan Reaper Walker thought he knew about himself. He'd killed men, buried bodies, watched enemies beg, and felt nothing. But when he opened that door, when he saw the 6-year-old girl standing in the rain with blood on her face and terror in her eyes, his whole world cracked in half. They beat my mama. Her voice was barely there. The bad men took her. 12 killers stood behind him. Not one of them moved. Ryan Walker hadn't cried since he was 8 years old. Tonight he came damn close. Before we go any further, comment below where you're watching from. And subscribe right now, because what this little girl sets in motion, it'll change everything. Bang, bang, bang. 3 knocks. Wrong knocks. Too soft. Too small. Ryan's bottle froze halfway to his mouth. Hell was that? Bones reached for his piece. Snake killed the music. Silence crashed down like a hammer. 12 men, 12 guns. 12 sets of eyes locked on that door. Ryan stood. His boots hit concrete. Each step echoed. He gripped the handle, pulled, and his brain stopped working. A kid. A goddamn kid. 6 years old maybe. Soaked through. Brown hair plastered to her skull like seaweed. Pink pajamas, little butterflies on them ripped at the knees, streaked with mud. She was shaking so hard her teeth clicked together, but her face, Christ, her face, purple bruise swelling her left eye shut. Blood crusted black under her nose. A split lip that was still oozing. She looked up at him, this massive, scarred, terrifying man, and she didn't flinch. They beat my mama. Her voice cracked like old glass. The bad men took her. Please, you gotta help. Ryan couldn't move. 37 years vanished. Gone. Just like that. He wasn't 45 anymore. He was 8, standing in a doorway, watching his stepfather's boot crush his mother's ribs, hearing her scream, tasting copper in his mouth from biting through his own tongue. Reaper. Bones grabbed his shoulder. Reaper. Ryan blinked. The girl was still there, still shaking, still bleeding, still waiting for someone to give a damn. He moved before he knew what he was doing, scooped her up. She weighed nothing, like holding smoke. What's your name, sweetheart? Lily. Hiccup. Lily Brooks. Okay, Lily, I got you. You're safe. He carried her inside. Every biker in the room stared like he'd just sprouted wings. Nobody said a word. No. Bones blocked the office door, arms crossed, face hard. No, what? Whatever you're thinking, no. Move. Ryan, listen to me. Bones lowered his voice. I know that look. I've seen it before. Last time 3 people ended up dead. Move now. She's a kid, a random kid. We call the cops, let them handle the cops. Also, Ryan laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. You want me to hand her to the same system that bounced me through 11 foster homes, that let my mother die alone in a hospital while her boyfriend walked free? That was 30 years ago. Nothing's changed. Ryan pushed past him. Nothing ever changes, not for people like her. He laid Lily on the old leather couch. She curled into a ball immediately, fetal position, protecting her organs. She'd learned that somewhere. A 6-year-old had learned to protect her organs. Ryan wanted to kill someone. Anyone. Everyone. Get Doc, he said without turning around. Ryan, get Doc. Duh. Doc showed up in 3 minutes flat. 62 years old, hands like leather, eyes that had seen everything twice. He knelt beside Lily, gentle, slow, like approaching a wounded animal. Hey there, little miss. I'm Doc. I'm gonna check if you're hurt, okay? I won't touch you without asking first. Lily stared at him, then nodded once. Doc's examination took 4 minutes. His face got darker with every second. Bruised ribs, split lip, black eye. He stood up slowly. Rope burns on both wrists. Rope burns, Bones went pale. Someone tied her up. Recently. She got loose somehow. Doc looked at Ryan. This wasn't random violence, Reaper. This was organized, professional. Someone was sending a message. Ryan's hands curled into fists. Lily. He crouched beside the couch. I need you to tell me what happened. Can you do that? Mama said don't tell. I know, sweetheart, but I can't help her if I don't know. Lily's chin wobbled. Fresh tears cut tracks through the dry blood on her face. 3 men. They broke our door. What did they want? They kept asking what Mama saw, what she told people. She said she didn't tell nobody, but they didn't believe her. What did your mama see, Lily? Bad things. Her voice dropped to a whisper. At the truck stop, men putting people in trucks. The people were crying. Mama said they were being taken away and nobody was going to save them. Ryan's blood turned to ice. Human trafficking. Santos's operation. The rumors had been circulating for months, victims being moved through Nevada like cattle. Sarah Brooks had witnessed it, and now she was a loose end. Loose ends didn't survive Victor Santos. The men who took Aisha, Ryan said carefully, what did they look like? One had a scar. Lily traced a line across her own nose. Right here, he was the mean one. He hit Mama so hard she fell down. She didn't get up. Carlos Vega, Santos's enforcer. Ryan had heard stories. The man collected teeth from his victims like souvenirs. They put her in a black van, Lily continued. I was under my bed. Mama always said hide if bad men come. Go out the window, find someone strong. And you found us. You have motorcycles. She looked up at him with those shattered eyes. Motorcycle men are strong, right? Ryan felt something rip open in his chest, something he'd kept locked away for 3 decades. Yeah, baby girl, we're strong, and I'm gonna bring your mama home. Bones cornered him in the hallway. You can't promise her that. I just did. Santos Ryan, Victor Santos, the guy who owns half the cops in this state, the guy who disappeared a federal witness last year and nobody even found the body. I know who he is. Then you know this is suicide. Maybe. Maybe, Bones grabbed his arm. There's no maybe. We're 12 guys. He's got an army, resources, connections. We go after him, we're dead, all of us. Ryan pulled free, turned to face his oldest friend. When I was 8 years old, I watched my stepfather beat my mother to death. Bones went still. Not all at once, over years, little pieces at a time, breaking her down. And every time I told myself next time I'll be big enough, strong enough. Next time I'll stop him. Ryan, next time never came. She died in a hospital bed with tubes down her throat and nobody holding her hand. I was in a foster home 40 miles away. They didn't even tell me until 3 days later. His voice cracked. That little girl in there came looking for someone strong enough to save her mama. She found me, and I'll be damned if I let her end up like I did. Bones stared at him for a long moment. Then he sighed. You're gonna get us all killed, you know that. Probably. And you don't even care. Nope. God damn it, Ryan. Bones shook his head. God damn it all to hell. He turned and walked toward the main room. Where are you going? Bones looked back over his shoulder. To tell the boys to gear up. If we're gonna die, might as well die doing something that matters. Church convened at midnight. 12 men around the oak table. Smoke in the air. Tension thick enough to choke on. This is crazy. Snake leaned forward. We're really gonna start a war with Santos over some woman we never met. We're gonna save her, sir, Ryan said flatly, and everyone else he's got locked up. You don't even know where they are. We'll find out. However we have to. Old man Pete cleared his throat. 68 years old, rode with the club since before most of them were born. I remember when you patched in Ryan, angry kid, full of rage, told me you joined because you wanted to be so strong, nobody could ever hurt you again. I remember. But that ain't what this is about. Pete nodded toward the back office. That little girl, she got to you. Ryan didn't deny it. I see myself in her, the kid I used to be, scared, alone, praying someone would come save me. He looked around the table. Nobody ever did. I'm not gonna let that happen to her. Silence. Then Pete pushed back from the table. His old bones creaked as he stood. What the hell? I'm in. Pete, Snake started. I've been waiting to die for 10 years, son. Might as well go out swinging. Bones stood next. Someone's got to watch this idiot's back. One by one around the table, every man rose. Ryan looked at his brothers. These broken, violent, loyal men. Thank you. Don't thank us yet, Snake muttered. Thank us when we ain't dead. Ryan's burner phone rang at 2:47 a.m. Unknown number. Who is this Detective Maria Santos, Reno PD? His thumb moved toward the end button. Wait, I know about the girl. I know you're planning something stupid, and I want in. A cop wants to help an outlaw biker club. A cop who's been investigating Santos for 8 months while her own department told her to drop it. A cop who's watched witnesses disappear and evidence vanish and known exactly who was responsible and not been able to do a damn thing about it. Bitterness bled through her voice. Real bitterness. The kind you couldn't fake. Why me? Because you're the only one crazy enough to actually move on him. And because, she paused, because I pulled your file, I know about your mother. I know why you took that girl in instead of calling us. Ryan's grip tightened on the phone. I can get you intel, Maria continued. Locations, guard rotations, shipment schedules, things you'd never find on your own. And in return, I want to be there when it goes down. I want to see Santos in cuffs or a body bag. Honestly, I'm not picky at this point. Ryan thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Tomorrow, noon, Rosie's Diner. You got 5 minutes to convince me you're not setting us up. Fair enough. Click. Jessica showed up at 3:15 a.m. She didn't knock, didn't announce herself, just walked in like she owned the place. 15 years of history between them. Love and hate and everything in between. Where is she? Back office. Sleeping. Jessica brushed past him without another word. He followed her down the hallway, watched her push open the office door. Lily was curled on the couch. Bunny clutched to her chest, face smoothed out by sleep, but still bearing the marks of violence. God, Jessica's voice cracked. She's so little. I know. And you're going after them. Yes. You could die, Ryan. You could get everyone killed. I know. She turned to face him, eyes wet, jaw hard. Why? Ryan looked past her at Lily, at the bruises, at the way she slept with her back to the wall, protecting herself, even unconscious. Because when I was her age, nobody came for me. His voice dropped to a rasp. My mother screamed for help every night for 6 years. Nobody came. And then she was gone, and it was too late. Ryan, I can't save her. I can't go back and fix what happened to me. But I can save this little girl's mother. I can give her something I never got. Jessica stared at him for a long moment. Then she stepped forward, put her hands on his face, forced him to meet her eyes. The man I fell in love with is still in there. Jess, I'll stay with her, keep her safe while you do what you have to do. Her voice hardened. But you better come back. You hear me? You better come back a lot. I'll try. Don't try. She kissed him. Hard, desperate. Do it. The meeting with Detective Santos lasted 90 minutes. She was younger than Ryan expected. Mid-30s, dark hair, eyes that had seen too much and slept too little. She spread files across the diner table like a surgeon laying out instruments. Victor Santos, 47 years old, runs the biggest trafficking operation on the West Coast. Drugs, guns, people, especially people. She tapped a photo, man with dead eyes and a scar across his nose. Carlos Vega, his top enforcer, the one who took Sarah Brooks. He's killed at least 15 people that we know of. Probably more. Where are they holding the victims? Abandoned warehouse complex. East Side. Shell company ownership traces back to Santos through 6 layers of bullshit. How many guards? 12 to 15, more during shipments. When's the next shipment in? Tomorrow night, after dark. They load victims into trucks and scatter them across 3 states. Maria's jaw tightened. Once they leave that warehouse, they're gone forever. Then we hit them tomorrow. That's suicide. You keep saying that word. I don't think you know what it means. Maria stared at him. You're serious. As a heart attack. You're 12 bikers against a small army. 13. Ryan met her eyes. You're coming too. Maria was quiet for a long moment. Then she laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. What the hell? I've been waiting for someone crazy enough to do this for 8 months. Glad I could help. Say. The next morning, Lily was waiting outside his office. She'd found one of his old t-shirts. Hell's Angels logo. It hung past her knees like a dress. "Morning, sweetheart. Are you going to get Mama today?" "Tonight. Is it going to be dangerous?" "Yes," she nodded, solemn, like she'd expected that answer. "Mama said sometimes you got to do scary things for people you love." "Your mama's a smart lady." "She is." Lily's voice wobbled. "Is she going to be okay?" Ryan crouched down, eye level. "I'm going to do everything I can to bring her home, Lily." "Everything. Do you believe me?" She studied his face. This scarred, hard, violent face. "Yeah." She touched the scar on his jaw with one tiny finger. "I believe you." "Good." On the eye, Ryan, the words hit him like a sledgehammer. Nobody had ever called him that. Nobody had ever looked at him the way this little girl was looking at him. "Yeah, sweetheart. I love you." Something broke inside his chest, something that had been frozen for 37 years. He pulled her into a hug, held her tight, let her feel the strength she'd come looking for. "I love you too, Lily, and I promise I'm coming back. With Mama. With Mama." Sean, 11:47 p.m. Ryan stood alone in his office. On the shelf, a wooden horse, hand-carved, lopsided, made by an 8-year-old boy who'd had nothing else. He picked it up, turned it over. That boy had dreamed of being strong, of saving people, of being the hero his mother never got. Tomorrow that dream would either come true or die trying. The door opened. "Time, brother." Bones stood in the doorway, full gear, face like granite. Ryan set the horse down, pulled on his jacket, checked his gun. "Let's go get that girl's mama." 12 engines roared to life. The sound shook the windows of the clubhouse. Inside, Lily stood at the glass, Jessica's hands on her shoulders. Ryan looked up, found her eyes. She pressed her small palm against the window. He pressed his fist against his heart. Then he kicked his bike into gear, and the Hells Angels rode into the dark. The roar of 12 Harleys split the night like thunder. Ryan led the pack down Highway 80, wind cutting through his jacket, mind locked on one thing only. Sarah Brooks, warehouse. Tonight. Behind him, his brothers rode in tight formation, Bones on his right, Snake on his left, Old Man Pete bringing up the rear. They'd been riding for 20 minutes when Bones pulled alongside him. "Reaper!" He had to shout over the engines. "We got company!" Ryan checked his mirror, headlights, 2 vehicles, hanging back but matching their speed. "How long?" "I picked them up 5 miles back. Could be nothing." "Could be Santos." Ryan's jaw tightened. If Santos knew they were coming, this whole thing was blown before it started. He signaled left. The pack followed. They cut down a side road, killed their lights, rolled to a stop behind an abandoned gas station. Engines died. Silence crashed down. 12 men, 12 guns drawn, 12 sets of eyes locked on that road. The headlights appeared, slowed, stopped. Ryan's finger found his trigger. A car door opened, footsteps on gravel, then a voice, female, familiar. "Don't shoot, it's Santos." Maria stepped into the moonlight, hands raised. Ryan didn't lower his gun. "You were supposed to meet us at the staging point." "Change of plans." She walked toward him slowly. "I got new intel. Couldn't risk a phone call." "What kind of intel?" "The kind that changes everything." Maria stopped 3 feet away. "Santos knows you're coming." The words hit like a gut punch. "How on?" Bones stepped forward. "Nobody knew about this, except the 13 of us," Snake finished. His hand moved towards his gun, "which means somebody talked." "It wasn't any of you." Maria's voice was flat. "It was me." Every gun in the group swung toward her. "Wait," she didn't flinch. "Let me finish. 3 hours ago, I got a call from my captain. He knew about our plan, every detail. Wanted to know who my source was." "You told him?" "I told him to go to hell. Then I started digging." Maria reached slowly into her jacket, pulled out a phone. "Found this in my car. GPS tracker. Someone's been monitoring me for weeks." Ryan stared at the device. "Santos has someone in the department. Santos has someone everywhere. That's how he stayed untouchable for so long." Maria crushed the tracker under her boot. But here's the thing. He knows we're coming, but he doesn't know when. My captain thinks I backed off. Thinks I got scared. Did you? I've been scared for 8 months. Hasn't stopped me yet. Ryan studied her face. The exhaustion, the determination, the barely controlled rage of someone who'd been fighting alone for too long. He lowered his gun. What's the new plan? We move now, tonight, before he has time to reinforce. Maria pulled out a folded map. There's a service entrance on the north side, minimal security. We go in fast and quiet hit them before they know what's happening. And if it's a trap, then we die fighting instead of running. She met his eyes. I'm not running anymore, Walker. Are you? Ryan thought about Lily, about the promise he'd made. No, I'm not. He turned to his brothers. You heard her. Santos knows we're coming. Anyone wants to back out, now's the time. No judgment. Nobody moved. All right then, Ryan swung back onto his bike. Let's go to war. The engines roared back to life. 13 souls riding toward whatever waited in the dark. 2 miles out, they killed the bikes and went on foot. The warehouse loomed ahead. 3 stories of rusted metal and broken windows. A handful of vehicles parked outside. Lights visible on the ground floor. Ryan crouched behind a concrete barrier, Maria beside him. How many inside, Bob? 12 guards minimum, maybe more with the shipment tonight. She handed him a pair of binoculars. Vega's probably there too. He always oversees the transfers personally. Good. Ryan's voice was ice. I want him. Get in line. They split into 2 teams. Ryan led Alpha through the north entrance. Bones led Bravo around to the east. The service door was locked. Wires took care of it in 30 seconds. They moved through a dark corridor, single file, silent. Ryan's heart hammered in his chest. Not from fear, from anticipation. 20 years of violence. 20 years of hurting people for money and territory and petty grudges. Tonight, for the first time in his miserable life, he was hurting people who deserved it. The corridor opened into a larger space, some kind of processing area, old conveyor belts, rusted machinery, and voices. Coming from somewhere deeper inside, Ryan held up a fist. Everyone stopped. He crept forward, peered around a corner. His blood turned to ice. Cages, dozens of them, made from chain link fence and zip ties. And inside the cages, people. Men, women, children, packed together like animals. Some were crying, some were silent. All of them had the same look in their eyes, the look of people who'd given up hope. Jesus Christ. Snake's whisper was barely audible. Ryan scanned the room. 6 guards visible, probably more he couldn't see. And there, standing by a makeshift office barking orders into a phone, a man with a scar across his nose. Carlos Vega. Ryan's finger found his trigger. Wait, Maria grabbed his arm. We need to coordinate with the Bravo team. If we move too soon. A scream cut through the air. One of the cages, a woman, young, maybe early 20s. A guard had opened her and was dragging her out by her hair. Let go of me, she fought back, kicked, scratched. The guard laughed, backhanded her across the face. Shut up, puta. Boss wants to inspect the merchandise before shipping. He dragged her toward Vega's office. Ryan didn't think, didn't calculate, didn't wait for the signal. He stepped out from cover and put 2 bullets in the guard's chest. The man dropped. The woman screamed, and all hell broke loose. Gunfire erupted from everywhere at once. Ryan dove behind a concrete pillar as bullets chewed up the wall behind him. Contact! Someone screamed. Multiple shooters. The Hells Angels scattered, taking cover where they could find it. Ryan popped out, fired 3 rounds, dropped another guard. Snake, get the civilians. On it! Bones' voice crackled through the radio. Bravo is in. We got 4 hostiles down, more coming from the upper level. Hold them. We're getting the victims out. The next 3 minutes were chaos. Ryan moved through the warehouse like a ghost. Shot a guard reaching for his weapon. Pistol whipped another trying to flank Snake. Took a bullet graze to his left arm that burned like fire but didn't slow him down. All around him, his brothers fought with the desperation of men who had nothing to lose. Old Man Pete took a round to the shoulder but kept firing one-handed. Wires tackled a guard twice his size and beat him unconscious with a pipe. Maria dropped 3 men in quick succession, her aim as cold and precise as her voice. And through it all, Ryan kept his eyes on one target, Vega. The enforcer had retreated to his office when the shooting started. Now he emerged with a hostage, a woman with blonde hair and terrified eyes. Sarah Brooks. "Everyone stop!" Vega's voice cut through the gunfire. "Stop or I kill her." The shooting died. Silence fell. Ryan stepped out from cover, his gun trained on Vega's head. "Let her go." "You know who I am?" Vega pressed his gun harder against Sarah's temple. "You know what I've done? I've killed 50 people, amigo. 50. One more won't even register." "I know exactly who you are." Ryan's voice was steady. "You're the man who broke into a woman's apartment and beat her in front of her 6-year-old daughter." Something flickered in Vega's eyes. "The girl, she's still alive. She's safe, no thanks to you." "Safe?" Vega laughed. "Nobody's safe from Santos. You think this ends here? You think killing me changes anything? There's 100 more like me. 1,000. You can't stop." A gunshot echoed through the warehouse. Vega's head snapped back. He crumpled. Sarah screamed and fell to her knees. Ryan spun. Maria stood 10 feet away, her gun still smoking. "He talked too much," she said flatly. Ryan wanted to argue, wanted to say he'd had it handled. But Sarah Brooks was sobbing on the concrete floor alive, and that was all that mattered. He ran to her, knelt beside her. "Sarah, Sarah, look at me." Her eyes were wild, unfocused. She'd been through hell. "Lily," she gasped. "My daughter, where's my—" "She's safe, she came to us. She's the reason we're here." Sarah's voice broke. "She found you. She knocked on our door and asked us to save her mama." Ryan helped her to her feet. "So that's what we're doing." Sarah stared at him. This scarred, bloody, terrifying stranger. "Who are you?" "Someone who made your daughter a promise the warehouse was secure in another 4 minutes. 43 victims total. Men, women, children. Some had been held for weeks, others for months. All of them broken in ways that would take years to heal. Ryan moved through the cages, cutting zip ties, helping people to their feet. "It's okay," he told them. "It's over. You're safe now." But even as he said the words, he knew it wasn't true. Not really. Santos was still out there. And men like Santos didn't let defeats go unanswered. "Reaper," Bones appeared at his shoulder. "We got a problem." "What?" "Pete's down. Bullet went through his lung. Doc's doing what he can, but—" Bones's voice cracked. "It doesn't look good." Ryan's heart seized. He found Pete propped against a wall, face-gray blood bubbling at his lips. "Hey, old man." Pete managed a weak smile. "Hell of a ride, huh?" "The best." Ryan took his hand. "You're gonna be okay. Doc's gonna patch you up, and don't." Pete coughed. Blood flecked his chin. "Don't bullshit a bullshitter, Ryan. I know what a sucking chest wound looks like." "Pete, listen to me." The old man's grip tightened with surprising strength. "What you did tonight, this matters. All the other stuff, the drugs, the guns, the stupid turf wars, none of that meant anything. But this," he gestured weakly at the freed prisoners. "This meant something. You helped make it happen." "Yeah," Pete smiled. "Yeah, I did." His eyes drifted past Ryan. "That the girl's mama?" "The blonde one." Ryan looked over his shoulder. Sarah sat wrapped in someone's jacket, shaking but alive. "That's her." "Good. That's good." Pete's grip loosened. "You take care of that little girl, Ryan. You be the father she needs. The father you never had." "Pete, promise me." Ryan felt tears burning in his eyes. "I promise." "Good." Pete let out a long, rattling breath. "Good." His eyes closed. He didn't open them again. Ryan knelt there for a long moment, holding his brother's hand. 43 people saved. 1 good man lost. He didn't know if the math worked out. He wasn't sure it ever would. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Maria appeared beside him. "Backup's almost here. Federal and state. I called in every favor I had." "Good. You should go, before they get here. Official story is going to be that I led a task force operation based on an anonymous tip. Your club was never here. And the people we saved will be processed through federal witness protection. Santos can't touch them." She paused. Sarah Brooks too, if she wants it. Ryan looked at Sarah, at her hollow eyes and trembling hands, at the blonde hair that reminded him so much of his own mother. She doesn't need witness protection. Ryan Santos will come after her, after anyone connected to tonight. Then he'll come after us. Ryan stood up slowly, and we'll be ready. He walked towards Sarah. She flinched when he approached, then recognized him and relaxed slightly. Miss Brooks, Sarah, I need to tell you something. Is Lily okay? Is she really? She's fine. She's safe. She's waiting for you. Fresh tears spilled down Sarah's cheeks. I thought I was never going to see her again. I know. Ryan crouched down to her level. I need to ask you something, and I need you to think carefully before you answer. What? The men who took you, they work for someone powerful, someone who's going to want revenge for what happened tonight. The police can put you in witness protection. New identity, new city, new life. You and Lily would be safe. Sarah was quiet for a moment. But that means leaving everything behind, starting over, never seeing anyone from your old life again. What's the alternative? Ryan took a breath. You come with us, the club. We protect our own. You and Lily would have a family, a strange, violent, messed up family, but a family. You'd do that for strangers. Your daughter knocked on my door and asked me to save her mama. That doesn't make you strangers, not anymore. Sarah looked at him, really looked, past the scars and the leather and the blood. Lily called you Daddy Ryan. She did. When she was talking in her sleep, before they took me, she kept saying Daddy Ryan will come. Daddy Ryan will save us. Sarah's voice broke. She believed in you before she even met you. Something cracked open in Ryan's chest, something that had been frozen for 37 years. I'm not. He had to start again. I'm not a good man, Sarah. I've done things, terrible things. So have I. Sarah wiped her eyes. So has everyone. But you came for me. You risked your life for a stranger because a little girl asked you to. She reached out and touched his hand. That's who you are. Everything else is just noise. The sirens were closer now. 2 minutes out, maybe less. We need to go, Ryan said. If you're coming with us, it has to be now. Sarah looked around the warehouse, at the cages, the bodies, the freed prisoners being tended by Hell's Angels members who looked like killers and acted like saints. Okay, but take me to my daughter. They moved fast. Maria ran an interference while Ryan and his brothers loaded up the wounded on bikes. Sarah in a borrowed car that wires had hot-wired in 30 seconds flat. They were 2 miles out when the first federal vehicles screamed past them, heading the other direction. Ryan allowed himself one moment of relief. Then his phone buzzed. Unknown number, he answered. Mr. Walker. The voice was smooth, cultured, completely calm. I believe you have something of mine, Santos. I don't know what you're talking about. Please, let's not play games. You hit my warehouse, killed my men, took my merchandise. A pause. I'm not angry, I'm impressed. It takes real courage to move against me, or real stupidity. I haven't decided which. Maybe both. Santos laughed. I like you, Mr. Walker. I really do, which is why I'm going to give you one chance. Return Sarah Brooks to me tonight, and I'll forget this ever happened. And if I don't, then I'll burn down everything you've ever loved. Your club, your friends, that pretty ex-girlfriend of yours, and that little girl you've gotten so attached to. Santos's voice hardened. I know where she is, Mr. Walker. I've known since the moment she knocked on your door. My men are watching your clubhouse right now. Ryan's blood turned to ice. If you touch her, then come and stop me. But make no mistake, you started this war, and I intend to finish it. The line went dead. Ryan stared at his phone. His hands were shaking. What? Bones pulled alongside him. What's wrong? Santos, he knows about Lily. He's got men at the clubhouse. Bones's face went white. Jessica's there alone with her. Ryan was already gunning his engine. Ride everybody, ride now. 12 bikes screamed through the night. Ryan pushed his Harley harder than he'd ever pushed it before. 80, 90, 100 miles an hour down empty desert roads. All he could think about was Lily. her tiny hand in his, her voice saying, "Daddy Ryan," her eyes full of trust. If anything happened to her, no. He couldn't think like that, couldn't let himself go there. They hit the city limits doing 85, blew through 3 red lights, took corners so sharp their pegs scraped asphalt. The clubhouse came into view, dark, silent, no movement. Ryan skidded to a stop, was off his bike before it finished sliding. Jessica Lilly. He burst through the door, gun drawn, nothing. No one. The main room empty. Lilly. He tore through the building. Office, empty. Kitchen, empty. Back room, empty. No, 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 no. Ryan. Bones' voice, strange, hollow. Ryan turned. Bones stood by the office door pointing at something on the floor. A stuffed bunny, one ear missing, spattered with blood. Ryan's knees buckled. He picked up the bunny with shaking hands. The same bunny Lilly had clutched when she showed up at his door. Her lifeline, her only possession. They took them. His voice didn't sound like his own. Santos's men. They took them. We'll find them. Bones grabbed his shoulder. We'll get them back. How we don't even know where... Ryan's phone buzzed. Text message. Unknown number. 1 photo, 1 address. The photo showed Lilly and Jessica tied to chairs, tape over their mouths, terror in their eyes. Behind them stood 3 men with guns. The address was a location in the industrial district, 15 minutes away. And beneath the photo, 4 words come alone. No tricks. Ryan stared at the screen. He'd spent his whole life building walls, keeping people out, convincing himself he didn't need anyone. In one night, he'd let those walls down, let a little girl and her mother inside, started to believe that maybe he could be something better. Now Santos was going to use that against him. Let me see. Bones reached for the phone. Ryan pulled away. No. Ryan. It says come alone. He shoved the phone in his pocket. So I'm going alone. That's suicide. He'll kill you the second you walk through the door. Maybe. Ryan grabbed a fresh magazine, slammed it into his gun. But if I don't go, he'll kill them. And I'm not letting that happen. There has to be another way. There isn't. Ryan headed for the door. Take care of Sarah. Tell her I'm sorry. Ryan, goddammit. But Ryan was already gone. His bike roared to life one more time, and he rode toward whatever waited for him in the dark. 15 minutes. That's how long it took to reach the address Santos had sent. Another warehouse. Of course it was another warehouse. Men like Santos lived in warehouses and shadows, in the spaces between laws. Ryan parked his bike a block away, checked his gun, took a breath, then he walked toward the entrance. 2 guards met him at the door, patted him down, took his gun, his knife, the backup piece strapped to his ankle. Mr. Santos is waiting, one of them said. This way. They led him through a maze of corridors, past stacks of shipping containers, past rooms that Ryan didn't want to think about. Finally, a large open space. And there they were. Lilly and Jessica got tied to chairs in the center of the room. Alive. Scared, but alive. Daddy Ryan, Lilly screamed against her tape. It's okay, baby. Ryan's voice cracked. I'm here. I'm going to get you out. I wouldn't make promises you can't keep. The voice came from behind him. Ryan turned. Victor Santos stepped out of the shadows. He was smaller than Ryan expected. 5'7" maybe, gray at the temples, expensive suit, the kind of man you'd walk past on the street without a second glance. But his eyes were the coldest things Ryan had ever seen. Mr. Walker, Santos smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Let them go. This is between you and me. Oh, I intend to, eventually. Santos circled him slowly. You cost me a great deal tonight. 43 products, 12 employees, millions of dollars in lost revenue. My heart bleeds. It will. Santos stopped in front of him. But first I want to understand something. Why what? Why risk everything for strangers? You're a businessman, Mr. Walker, a criminal like me. You understand cost-benefit analysis. There was nothing to gain from attacking my operation. Nothing except... Santos glanced at Lilly. Ah, the child. She came to me for help. And you gave it. Fascinating. Santos tilted his head. I've read your file. Abusive childhood, foster system, juvenile detention. You've spent your entire adult life building armor around yourself, keeping people at a distance, never letting anyone in. He smiled again. Until tonight. Ryan said nothing. That's your weakness, Mr. Walker. That's what got you here. Santos pulled out a gun. You let yourself care, and caring makes you vulnerable. Maybe. Ryan met his eyes. But it also makes me dangerous. Santos laughed. Dangerous, you're unarmed, surrounded, completely at my mercy. He raised his gun. What could you possibly do? This. Ryan moved faster than he'd ever moved in his life. He grabbed Santos's gun arm, twisted felt bone snap. Santos screamed. The gun fired wild, hitting the ceiling. Guards rushed forward. Ryan spun Santos around, used him as a shield. Nobody move or I snap his neck. Everyone froze. Ryan's arm was locked around Santos's throat. One squeeze and it was over. Here's what's going to happen. His voice was ice. You're going to tell your men to untie the woman and the girl. Then you're going to let us walk out of here. And if anyone tries to follow us, I'll tear your head off your shoulders. Santos wheezed a laugh. You think this changes anything? Kill me 10 more, take my place. This is bigger than... Ryan squeezed. Santos gasped. I don't care about your organization. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your legacy. Ryan's voice dropped to a whisper. I care about that little girl, and I will burn down the entire world to keep her safe. Do you understand me? Santos was silent for a long moment. Then slowly he nodded. Untie them, he croaked. The guards didn't move. Untie them. One of the guards stepped forward, cut Jessica's bonds, then Lily's. Lily ran to Ryan, wrapped her arms around his legs. I knew you'd come, she was crying. I knew it. Always, baby girl. Ryan kept his grip on Santos. Always. Jessica grabbed Lily's hand. We need to go. Now. Go to the door, Ryan told them. I'm right behind you. They moved toward the exit. Ryan backed up slowly, Santos still locked in his grip. 10 feet from the door. 8, 5. This isn't over, Santos hissed. Yes. Ryan released him, shoved him toward his men. It is. He turned and ran. They burst through the door into the night. Jessica had already found his bike. Get on. Ryan grabbed Lily, put her in front of him. Jessica climbed on behind. The engine roared, and they rode into the darkness. They didn't stop until they were back at the clubhouse. Bones met them at the door. His face went from terror to relief in half a second. Jesus Christ. He pulled Ryan into a hug. I thought you were dead. Not yet. Sarah came running from the back room, saw Lily, screamed her name. Mama! Lily launched herself into her mother's arms. They collapsed together, crying, holding each other like they'd never let go. Ryan watched them, mother and daughter, reunited, safe. It was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. Jessica appeared beside him, took his hand. You came for us. Always. Santos will come back. He'll try again. I know. So what do we do? Ryan looked at his brothers, at Sarah and Lily, at this strange, broken, beautiful family that had somehow formed around him. We fight, he said, together, whatever comes. Jessica squeezed his hand. Together, she agreed. Outside, the first light of dawn was beginning to break. It had been the longest night of Ryan's life, but somehow, against all odds, they'd made it through, and whatever came next, they'd face it the same way, together. 3 days passed without a word from Santos. 3 days of watching, waiting, jumping at every shadow. Ryan hadn't slept more than 2 hours at a stretch. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Lily's face, the terror in her eyes when she was tied to that chair, the blood on her stuffed bunny. He kept the bunny on his desk now, cleaned it himself, couldn't bring himself to give it back to her yet. Every time he looked at it, he remembered how close he'd come to losing her, and you need to sleep. Jessica found him in his office at 4 a.m., staring at the wall. You're no good to anyone dead on your feet. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're running on coffee and rage. She sat on the edge of his desk. Talk to me. Nothing to talk about. Ryan, he looked at her, really looked. the worry lines around her eyes, the way she'd aged 10 years in 3 days. He's coming, Jess. Santos. He's not the kind of man who lets things go. I broke his arm, humiliated him in front of his people, took his hostages. Ryan's jaw tightened. He's going to come for us. All of us. And I don't know if I can stop him. You stopped him once. I got lucky once. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Jessica reached out, took his hand. Then we'll make our own lightning. A knock on the door. Bones stepped in, face grim. We got a problem. Ryan was on his feet instantly. Santos. Worse. Come see. They followed Bones to the main room. The TV was on, local news, and on the screen, Ryan's face. Wanted for questioning in connection with a series of violent crimes across the Reno area. Police say Walker, president of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, is considered armed and extremely dangerous. Son of a bitch. Ryan's fists clenched. Santos. Gets better. Bones unmuted the volume. Sources within the department confirm that Walker is the primary suspect in the murder of Carlos Vega, a local businessman found shot to death in a warehouse last week. Businessman? Jessica laughed bitterly. Vega was a murderer and a human trafficker. Doesn't matter, Ryan's voice was hollow. Santos is playing the game. He can't get to us directly, so he's using the system. What do we do? Ryan thought about running, thought about disappearing into the night, starting over somewhere. Santos couldn't find him. Then he thought about Lily, about the way she called him Daddy Ryan, about the promise he'd made. We don't run. He turned to face his brothers. We've never run from anything. We're not starting now. They'll arrest you, Ryan, the second you step outside. Let them try. The phone rang. Ryan's burner. Unknown number. He answered. Enjoying the news coverage? Santos's voice was silk and venom. I thought it was a nice touch. You're a coward, hiding behind cops and lawyers. I'm a businessman. I use every tool at my disposal. A pause. Here's the situation, Mr. Walker. Within 48 hours, you'll be arrested. Within a week, you'll be convicted of murder. Within a month, you'll be in a federal prison where I have many friends. Friends who would be happy to do me a favor. Ryan's blood went cold. But there's another option, Santos continued. Give me Sarah Brooks. She's the only witness who can connect me to the trafficking operation. Without her testimony, the federal case falls apart. Give her to me and all of this goes away. The charges, the manhunt, everything. Go to hell. Already there, Mr. Walker. The question is whether you want to join me. Santos's voice hardened. 48 hours. Think carefully. The line went dead. Ryan stared at the phone. What did he want? Jessica asked. Sarah. He wants me to hand over Sarah. You can't. I know. Ryan's voice was steel. But he's right about one thing. I can't fight this from inside a prison cell. So what do we do? Ryan looked around the room, at his brothers, his family. We need help. The kind of help I swore I'd never ask for. Bones frowned. What kind of help? The federal kind. The meeting with Agent Chen happened 6 hours later. FBI, Organized Crime Division. She was small Asian and looked like she could break Ryan in half without breaking a sweat. Mr. Walker. She didn't offer her hand. I've been waiting for this call for 3 years. Then you know why I'm here. Victor Santos. Chen sat down across from him in the diner booth. We've been building a case against him since before you got involved. Your little warehouse raid accelerated our timeline considerably. Happy to help. Don't be cute. Chen pulled out a file. Here's the situation. We have enough to indict Santos on trafficking charges. What we don't have is enough to convict. His lawyers are good. His connections are better. Without rock-solid testimony from someone inside his operation, you need Sarah. Sarah Brooks is the only witness who can place Santos directly at the scene of human trafficking activity. Her testimony combined with the physical evidence from the warehouse would be enough to put him away for life. And in exchange, full immunity for you and your club, all charges dropped. Witness protection for Ms. Brooks and her daughter if they want it. Chen leaned forward. But here's the catch. Santos knows we're closing in. He's going to run. Probably within the next 24 hours. Once he's gone, we'll never find him. So we have one day. Les, he's scheduled to fly out of a private airstrip tonight at midnight. We need to move before then. Ryan thought about it. Thought about trusting the feds, trusting the system that had failed him so many times before. But he also thought about Lily, about the life she deserved, about breaking the cycle once and for all. What do you need me to do? The plan was simple, probably too simple. Sarah would agree to testify, Chen would get her into federal protection, and Ryan would help the FBI intercept Santos before he could escape. Simple, clean, legal. Ryan hated every part of it. You okay with this? He found Sarah in the back room, Lily asleep on her lap. Once you testify, there's no going back. Santos will have a target on your back forever. He already does. Sarah stroked Lily's hair. At least this way he'll be in prison where he belongs. You could disappear instead, take Lily somewhere safe, start over. Is that what you want? Ryan didn't answer, couldn't answer. I've spent my whole life running, Sarah said quietly. Running from bad relationships, bad moves, bad decisions. I'm tired of running, Ryan. I want to stand and fight. For Lily, for myself. She looked up at him. For us. Us. Don't pretend you haven't thought about it. The three of us. A family. Sarah's voice softened. Lily loves you, and I'm starting to understand why. Ryan's heart clenched. I'm not a good man, Sarah. Good men are boring. She almost smiled. I want a man who'll burn down the world to protect his family. I think I found one. Before Ryan could respond, his phone buzzed. Bones. We got movement. 3 vehicles heading toward the clubhouse. Not cops. Ryan's blood turned to ice. Santos. Looks like. How long? 5 minutes, maybe less. Ryan was moving before the call ended. Everyone up now, we got incoming. The clubhouse erupted into controlled chaos. Guns were grabbed, positions taken. Women and children moved to the reinforced back room. Ryan found Jessica loading a shotgun. Get Sarah and Lily to the basement. Don't come out until I say. Ryan, please, Jess, I need to know they're safe. She stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. Don't die. Wasn't planning on it. She kissed him. Hard, fast, like she might never get another chance. Then she was gone, herding Sarah and Lily toward the basement stairs. Ryan turned to face the door. Bones appeared at his side. Snake on the other. Wires. The rest of the brothers. How many? Snake asked. Don't know. Doesn't matter. If this is it, it's not. Ryan checked his gun. We've survived worse. Have we, though? Before Ryan could answer, the front door exploded inward. Gunfire everywhere. Ryan dove behind the bar as bullets chewed up the wall behind him. Glass shattered, wood splintered. Someone screamed. He popped up, fired, dropped a man in the doorway. Another came through the window. Snake took him down. How many? Ryan shouted. I count 12, maybe more. More than they could handle. Ryan knew it. His brothers knew it. They were going to die here. Then he heard something that changed everything. Sirens, getting closer, fast. FBI. Everyone down, FBI. Agent Chen's voice amplified through a bullhorn. Santos's men hesitated, just for a second. But a second was enough. Ryan moved, shot one, tackled another. Bones and Snake flanked him, taking down 2 more. Federal agents poured through every entrance. Black tactical gear, automatic weapons, the kind of firepower that ended fights before they started. In 90 seconds, it was over. 12 of Santos's men, dead or in custody. Ryan stood in the middle of his destroyed clubhouse, breathing hard blood running from a cut on his forehead. Chen approached him. You're welcome. You were watching us. We've been watching you since the warehouse raid. Did you really think we'd let Santos make a move without knowing about it? Ryan didn't know whether to thank her or punch her. Where is he, Santos? Chen's face darkened. Gone. His men were a distraction. While we were here, he slipped out. The airstrip. Being watched. But there are a dozen ways out of the city. He could be anywhere by now. Ryan's fists clenched. After everything, all the blood, all the sacrifice, Santos was going to get away. No. He pushed past Chen, headed for his bike. Walker. Where are you going to finish this? You don't even know where he is. Ryan stopped, turned. Yes, I do. He thought about everything Santos had said, every threat, every power play. The man was arrogant, convinced of his own superiority. Men like that didn't run. Not really. They made grand exits. He's going to the warehouse, Ryan said, the one where we rescued Sarah. He's going back to destroy evidence before he disappears. That's insane. Why would he? Because he's not just running, he's erasing himself. Every connection, every piece of paper, every witness. Ryan's blood went cold. Sarah. Sarah's in your basement, which he knows about. The attack on the clubhouse was a distraction within a distraction. Keep the FBI busy. Keep us busy. While his real team goes after her. Chen's face went pale. Ryan was already running. He burst through the basement door screaming Jessica's name. Silence. The room was empty. Signs of struggle everywhere. Chairs overturned, blood on the floor, and on the wall written in what looked like lipstick, the warehouse. Midnight. Come alone or they all die. Ryan's knees buckled. He'd failed. Again. Despite everything. Despite all his strength, all his rage, all his promises. He'd failed the people who needed him most. Ryan. Bones appeared behind him, saw the message, went pale. Jesus Christ. He has them. He has all of them. Ryan's voice was dead. Jessica, Sarah, Lily. We'll get them back. No. Ryan stood slowly. Something had shifted in his eyes, something dark and final. I'll get them back. You can't go alone. That's exactly what he wants. I know. He'll kill you. Maybe. Ryan picked up his gun, checked the magazine. But he won't kill them, not while I'm still breathing. This is suicide, brother. Ryan turned to face Bones, his oldest friend, his most loyal soldier. When I was 8 years old, I promised myself I'd get strong enough to protect the people I loved. I spent 37 years breaking that promise, failing everyone who ever counted on me. His voice cracked. I'm not failing them. Then let us help. No. Ryan's tone left no room for argument. This is my fight, my family, my responsibility. He put his hand on Bones' shoulder. If I don't come back, take care of the club. You're president now. Ryan, take care of them, brother. Promise me. Bones stared at him, eyes wet, jaw tight. I promise, boss. Ryan nodded once, then turned and walked toward the door. Behind him, his brothers watched him go. None of them expected to see him alive again. The warehouse loomed against the night sky like a tombstone. Ryan killed his engine 100 yards out, walked the rest of the way, no weapons visible, hands empty, just like Santos demanded. But under his jacket, strapped to the small of his back, a knife, the one his mother had given him before she died. The only thing he had left of her. Tonight it would end this, one way or another. The front door was open, waiting. Ryan walked through. The main floor was lit by industrial floodlights, and there in the center of the room, 3 chairs. Jessica, Sarah, Lily, bound, gagged, terrified, but alive. Thank God, alive. Daddy Ryan, Lily's muffled scream cut through her and gag. I'm here, baby girl, I'm here. Touching, Santos stepped out of the shadows. Behind him, 6 armed men, truly touching. Ryan kept his eyes on Santos. Let them go. This is between you and me. Is it? Santos circled him slowly. You know, I've been thinking about you, Mr. Walker, about why you fascinate me so much. I don't care about your psychology, but you should, because we're not so different, you and I. Santos stopped in front of Jessica, ran a finger down her cheek. She flinched. We're both products of our trauma, both driven by wounds that never healed, both willing to do terrible things to protect what's ours. I'm nothing like you. No, Santos smiled. You killed men tonight. You've killed men before. How many bodies, Mr. Walker? How many graves you tell yourself it's different because your victims deserved it? But does that really matter in the end? Dead is dead. Ryan said nothing. The difference between us, Santos continued, is that I embrace what I am. You're still pretending to be something better. He gestured at Lily. You think loving that child redeems you? Makes up for all the blood on your hands? Maybe not. Ryan's voice was quiet, but she makes me want to be better. She makes me want to trade away. How sweet. Santos pulled out a gun. Unfortunately, trying isn't enough. He raised the weapon, aimed at Lily. Say goodbye to your daughter, Mr. Walker. Everything happened in a heartbeat. Ryan's hand moved to his back, found the knife, threw it. The blade caught Santos in the shoulder. He screamed. His shot went wide. Ryan was already moving, tackled Santos to the ground. They rolled fighting for the gun. Santos's men rushed forward and ran straight into a wall of Hell's Angels. Bones, Snake, Wires, the whole club. They'd followed him, despite his orders, despite everything. His brothers had his back. Gunfire erupted. Bodies fell. Ryan and Santos grappled on the concrete floor. The guns skittered away. They fought hand to hand. Brutal, desperate. Santos was stronger than he looked. Faster. He landed a punch that split Ryan's lip, another that cracked his ribs. But Ryan had something Santos didn't. Rage. Pure, undiluted rage. 37 years of anger. Every beating he'd witnessed, every failure he'd swallowed, every person he'd lost. It all poured out in one devastating blow. His fist connected with Santos's jaw. Bone crunched, the crime lord crumpled. Ryan stood over him, breathing hard, blood dripping from his face. He picked up the gun, aimed it at Santos's head. Do it. Santos spat blood, laughed. Prove you're exactly what I said you are. Ryan's finger tightened on the trigger. One squeeze. That's all it would take. End this monster forever. Protect his family once and for all. Daddy Ryan. Lily's voice, small, scared. He looked at her, at those eyes that had seen too much already. If he pulled this trigger, she'd see him become a murderer. She'd see the darkness he'd fought so hard to hide, and she'd never look at him the same way again. Ryan lowered the gun. No. His voice was hoarse. You don't get to make me into you. He stepped back, looked at Chen, who'd arrived with her team. He's yours. Chen nodded. Her agents moved in, cuffed Santos, dragged him to his feet. This isn't over, Santos hissed. I have lawyers, connections. I'll be out and you'll be in federal prison for the rest of your life. Chen cut him off. Trafficking, murder, conspiracy. We have enough evidence to bury you 10 times over. She glanced at Ryan. Thanks to some unexpected allies. Santos's face went white. No, you can't. Take him away. They dragged him out, still screaming, still threatening. Ryan didn't watch him go. He was already at Lily's side, cutting her bonds, pulling off her gag. Daddy Ryan. She threw herself into his arms. I knew you'd come, I knew it. Always, baby girl. He held her tight, let his tears fall. Always. Sarah was next, then Jessica. All of them crying, all of them holding each other. Bones appeared at Ryan's shoulder. I told you not to follow me. Since when do I listen to you? Ryan almost laughed. Almost. Thank you, brother. Family doesn't need thanks. Bones squeezed his shoulder. That's the whole point. The sun was rising when they finally made it back to the clubhouse, damaged, but still standing, like them. Ryan sat on the front steps, Lily asleep in his lap, Sarah beside him, Jessica on his other side. What happens now? Sarah asked quietly. Now we rebuild. Ryan looked at the broken windows, the bullet holes, and we figure out what comes next. Together, he looked at Sarah, at Lily, at Jessica, 3 people who'd become his world in the span of a week. Together. Sarah leaned her head on his shoulder. Jessica took his hand, and for the first time in 37 years, Ryan Walker felt something he had almost forgotten existed. Peace. It wouldn't last, he knew that. There would be more fights, more challenges, more darkness to face. But right now, in this moment with his family around him, it was enough. More than enough. It was everything. Dawn broke cold and gray over the clubhouse. Ryan sat at the bar, coffee growing cold in his hands, watching Sarah rock Lily to sleep in the corner booth. The little girl hadn't let go of her mother since their reunion. Hadn't let go of Ryan either. Her small hand kept reaching for him even in her dreams. You should sleep. Jessica peered beside him. Can't. Santos is gone. The feds are hunting him. It's over. Nothing's over. Ryan set down his cup. Men like Santos don't disappear. They regroup, they plan, they come back stronger. Then we'll be ready. Will we? He turned to face her. I almost lost them tonight, Jess. Lily, Sarah, you, because I wasn't careful enough, wasn't smart enough. You saved us. Barely. And next time we'll be ready. Jessica grabbed his face, forced him to look at Hiram. Stop doing this to yourself. You're not responsible for everything bad that happens in the world. I'm responsible for them, Enam. And you came through, like you always do. The front door banged open. Bones stormed in, face white. We got a problem. Ryan was on his feet instantly. What? Pete's gone, vet. Gone. He's dead. We buried him. Not old man Pete. Bones shook his head. Tommy Pete, young Pete, the prospect. Ryan's blood chilled. Tommy Peterson, 23 years old. Been prospecting for the club 6 months. Eager, loyal. A little too eager, maybe. What do you mean gone? His bike's missing. His gear's missing, and I found this in his bunk. Bones held up a phone. Burner. Cheap. I checked the messages. He's been talking to someone for weeks, feeding them information. Our routes, our schedules, everything. Ryan grabbed the phone, scrolled through the texts. His stomach dropped. Target confirmed. Clubhouse location verified. Warehouse attack proceeding as planned. Walker isolated. Women secured. Awaiting final payment. Son of a bitch. Ryan's fist slammed into the bar. He sold us out the whole time. He's been working for Santos. There's more. Bones' voice was hollow. Last message came in 20 minutes ago. Ryan looked at the screen. Phase 2 initiated. Eliminate all witnesses. Phase 2. Jessica grabbed Ryan's arm. What does that mean? Before he could answer, his own phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Mr. Walker. Santos' voice. Smooth as silk. Did you enjoy my little surprise? Where's Tommy? Safe for now. He's been very helpful. Young men are so easy to corrupt. A little money, a few promises. They'll betray anyone. What do you want? What I've always wanted, Sarah Brooks. And now because you've made this so personal, I wanted something else too. Santos paused. I want you to watch everyone you love die before I kill you. I'll find you. No, you won't. But I'll find you. I'll find Sarah. I'll find that precious little girl you've gotten so attached to. His voice dropped to a whisper. Run, Mr. Walker. Run as far and as fast as you can. It won't matter. I'll still be there, waiting. Click. Ryan stared at the phone. We need to move. His voice was steel. Now. 20 minutes later, they were gone. 3 vehicles. 12 club members. Sarah, Lily, and Jessica in the middle car. Everything they could grab in the chaos. Ryan led the convoy, mind racing. Santos had people everywhere. Cops, feds, maybe even inside the club. Tommy was proof of that. How many others? How deep did the rot go? His phone buzzed. Maria Chen. Walker, where are you? Moving. Santos has a mole. Had a mole in my club. I know. We intercepted communications an hour ago. There's more. Chen's voice was tight. Santos isn't running. He's regrouping. We've tracked shipments of weapons and men coming into the city. Military grade. He's preparing for war. War against who? You, the FBI, everyone who humiliated him. A pause for a moment. He's also put a bounty on your head. $2 million. Dead or alive. Ryan's grip tightened on the handlebars. How long do we have? 12 hours, maybe less. He's moving fast. Can you protect us? Silence. Chen. I can try, but Santos has reach. He's already compromised 2 of my agents. I don't know who to trust anymore. That makes 2 of us. There's a safe house. Off the books. Not even my superiors know about it. I can get you there. Why should I trust you? Because right now I'm the only one you can trust. Chen exhaled. I've been hunting Santos for 3 years, Walker. 3 years of dead ends and buried evidence and witnesses who disappeared before they could testify. You're the first person who's ever gotten close to taking him down. I'm not letting that slip away. Ryan thought about it. Every instinct screamed trap. But what choice did he have? Send me the address. The safe house was a farmhouse 30 miles outside the city, remote, isolated, perfect for hiding, or perfect for an ambush. Ryan pulled up first. Scanned the area. Nothing moved. Stay into the cars, he told his brothers. Bone Snake with me. They approached the house, guns drawn, every sense on high alert. The door opened before they reached it. Maria Chen stood in the doorway, alone, unarmed. It's clear. I swept it myself. Ryan did not lower his weapon. How do I know you're not working for Santos? You don't. Chen stepped aside. But if I was, you'd already be dead. Santos doesn't play games when money's on the line. Fair point. Ryan signaled his brothers. The convoy moved in. Sarah and Lily emerged from the middle car. The little girl's eyes were red from crying. She ran straight to Ryan. Are the bad men coming again? Not if I can help it, baby girl. Promise. That word, that impossible word. Promise. Isaes. The next 6 hours were the longest of Ryan's life. Chen worked the phones, trying to coordinate a response, trying to find agents she could trust. The club fortified the farmhouse, barricaded doors, set up sight lines, prepared for the worst. And Ryan sat with Lily reading her stories from a book Jessica had grabbed in the rush, pretending everything was normal, pretending the world wasn't about to explode. Daddy Ryan, yeah, sweetheart, are you scared? He looked at her, at those eyes that had seen too much. A little, he admitted, me too. She snuggled closer. But I'm less scared when you're here. Why's that? Because you're strong and brave, and you always come to save me. Ryan felt tears burning behind his eyes. I'm not that brave, Lily. Yes, you are. She touched his face with her small hand. Mama says brave isn't not being scared. Brave is being scared and doing the right thing anyway. Your mama's pretty smart. She is. Lily yawned. I love you, Daddy Ryan. I love you too, baby girl. She fell asleep in his arms. Ryan held her close. Whatever happened next, whatever Santos threw at them, he would protect this child, even if it killed him, especially if it killed him. The attack came at midnight. No warning, no demands. Just the sudden roar of engines and the flash of headlights cutting through the darkness. Contact, Bones shouted from the window. Multiple vehicles coming fast. Ryan handed Lily to Sarah. Basement, now, don't come out no matter what you hear. Ryan, sure, go. They ran. Jessica stayed behind. I'm not hiding, she said, grabbing a shotgun. Not this time. Jess, don't argue, we don't have time. She was right, they didn't. Ryan took position at the front window. Counted vehicles? 5, maybe 20 men, against 12 Hells Angels and 2 FBI agents. Bad odds, but he'd faced worse. Hold fire until they're in range, he ordered. Make every shot count. The vehicles stopped 50 yards out. Doors opened, men poured out, armed, professional, moving in tactical formation. Not street thugs. These were soldiers. Santos hired mercenaries, Chen muttered. Great. The first wave hit the front door. Ryan dropped 2 before they reached the porch. Then everything became chaos. Gunfire, screaming, glass shattering, wood splintering. Ryan moved through the madness like a man possessed. Shot a mercenary climbing through the window. Pistol whipped another coming through the back. Took a bullet graze to his shoulder that burned like hellfire. Around him, his brothers fought and bled and died. Wires went down with a bullet to the chest. Snake took 2 rounds, saving Bones from a flanking attack. Old Marcus, a 20-year veteran, was killed by a grenade that came through the kitchen window. They were losing. Ryan knew it. Felt it in his bones. Then he heard the scream. Lily's scream from the basement. His blood turned to ice. He ran. Didn't think. Didn't calculate. Just ran. Burst through the basement door and froze. Tommy Peterson stood at the bottom of the stairs, gun pressed to Sarah's head, Lily cowering behind her mother. Hey, Reaper, Tommy grinned. Surprise. Let them go. Can't do that, Mr. Santos is paying me a lot of money for these 2. Tommy's grin widened. Should have treated me better, boss. Should have made me a full patch instead of keeping me as a prospect for months. This is about a patch. You sold us out for a goddamn patch. I sold you out for $1 million. The patch thing is just a bonus. Tommy pressed the gun harder against Sarah's temple. Now drop your weapon or I blow her brains all over this basement. Ryan's mind raced. The angle was wrong. If he shot Tommy, the kid's finger might squeeze the trigger reflexively. He needed a distraction. Santos is using you, Ryan said, buying time. The second you deliver them, you're dead. He doesn't leave witnesses. Nice try. Think about it, Tommy. Why would he let you live? You know too much. You're a liability. Something flickered in Tommy's eyes. Doubt. He promised me a lot of things too, right before he tried to kill everyone I love. Ryan took a slow step forward. You're a dead man walking kid. Only question is whether you die working for him or fighting against him. Stay back. Put the gun down. Help us take Santos down. The FBI will cut you a deal. You'll do time, but you'll live. Tommy's gun hand wavered. I can't. He'll kill me. A shot rang out. Tommy's eyes went wide. He crumpled. Behind him, Lily stood holding a small pistol. Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely keep it upright. Sarah's backup piece. The one she kept in her boot. The one Ryan had taught her to use just 2 days ago. He was going to hurt Mama, Lily whispered. I couldn't let him hurt Mama again. Ryan rushed forward, kicked Tommy's gun away. The kid was still alive, bullet wound in his shoulder, groaning on the floor. Then he went to Lily, took the gun gently from her trembling hands. You did good, baby girl. You did so good. I shot him. Her voice was tiny. I shot a person. You saved your mama. You saved all of us. Lily burst into tears. Ryan held her tight. Behind them, Sarah stood frozen, staring at her daughter, at what her daughter had just done. Mama, Lily reached for her. Mama, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Sarah snapped out of it, fell to her knees, pulled Lily into her arms. You have nothing to be sorry for. Nothing. You hear me? You're the bravest girl in the whole world. They held each other, crying, shaking. Ryan watched them, mother and daughter, survivors. Then his phone buzzed. Bones. Reaper, you need to get up here, now. What's wrong? Just come. Ryan took the stairs 2 at a time. The gunfire had stopped. The mercenaries were either dead or gone. But something was wrong. He could feel it. He found Bones in the living room, standing over a body, Chen's body. She took 4 bullets covering our flank, Bones said quietly. Saved 3 of our guys before she went down. Ryan knelt beside the FBI agent. Her eyes were closed, her face peaceful. She'd spent 3 years hunting Santos, 3 years fighting alone. She died fighting alongside outlaws. Did we get any of them? Ryan asked. Captured 2, alive. One of them's talking. What's he saying? Bones hesitated. What's he saying, Bones? Santos isn't in the city. He was never in the city. This whole thing, the bounty, the attacking, all of it, it was a distraction. A distraction from what? From this. Bones held up a tablet. On the screen, a news broadcast. Breaking federal witness in Santos trafficking case, assassinated in FBI custody. Ryan's blood ran cold. What witness? A woman named Elena Vasquez. She was set to testify against Santos next week, protected by a 12-man security detail. They're all dead. Elena, the agents, everyone. Bones's voice cracked. Santos played us, Ryan. He used us. While we were fighting for our lives out here, his real team was taking out the only witness who could put him away for good. Ryan stared at the screen. All of it. Everything. The mole, the bounty, the attack on the farmhouse. A game, a distraction. A way to keep the FBI busy while Santos eliminated his real threat. And they'd fallen for it. Every step of the way. Where is he? Ryan's voice was ice. Where is Santos now? Gone, private plane. Could be anywhere in the world by now. Ryan closed his eyes. Chen was dead. His brothers were dead. And Santos was free. They'd won the battle. Lost the war. Ryan, Sarah's voice. From the basement stairs. He turned. She stood there, Lily in her arms, both of them shaking. Is it over? He wanted to lie, wanted to tell her everything was fine. No. The word tasted like ash. It's not over. Then what do we do? Ryan looked at the bodies, at the destruction, at everything he'd fought so hard to protect. We rebuild, we regroup, and we wait. Wait for what? For Santos to make his next move. Ryan's jaw tightened, because he will. Men like him always do. And when he does, we'll be ready. How can you be sure? Because now it's personal. Ryan looked at Lily, at Sarah, at what was left of his broken family. He came after my people, my family, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life making him pay for that, however long it takes, whatever it costs. Sarah stared at him, at the hardness in his eyes, the determination. That's not a plan, Ryan. That's a vendetta. Maybe. He crossed to her, took her face in his hands. But it's also a promise. I'm not going to let him hurt you again. Either of you. Ever. You can't promise that. Watch me. He kissed her. Hard. Desperate. When they broke apart, Sarah was crying. I'm scared, Ryan. I know. Me too. But I'm more scared of losing you than I am of Santos. He pressed his forehead against hers. We're going to get through this. Together. All of us. The sun was rising when they finally loaded up to leave. 3 vehicles. 8 surviving club members. Sarah, Lily, and Jessica. Everything they had left in the world. Ryan stood by his bike watching his brothers say goodbye to the ones they'd lost. Bones appeared at his shoulder. What now? Now we disappear, find somewhere Santos can't reach, build up our strength. And then Ryan thought about Chen, about Old Man Pete, about all the people who died because of Santos's greed. Then we hunt. Hunt what? Everyone who works for Santos, every enforcer, every money man, every corrupt cop and dirty politician. Ryan's voice dropped to a growl. We tear his empire apart piece by piece until there's nothing left but him, and then we finish it. That could take years. I've got nothing but time. Ryan swung onto his bike. You with me? Bones was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. The old Bones smile. The one Ryan hadn't seen since before all this started. Till the end. Brother, till the very end. The engines roared to life. Ryan looked back at the farmhouse one last time, at the bodies they were leaving behind, at the blood that stained the earth. Then he looked forward, at the road ahead, at the family waiting for him. Lily waved from the car window, small hand, big smile. Despite everything, despite all the death and destruction, she was still smiling. For her, Ryan thought, for all of them. He would burn down Santos's world, and he would build something better from the ashes. The convoy pulled out, disappeared into the morning light. Behind them, the farmhouse stood silent, a monument to everything they'd sacrificed. Ahead of them, the road stretched endless, and somewhere out there, Victor Santos was waiting. But Ryan Walker was done being hunted. It was time to become the hunter. 6 months. 6 months of running, hiding, rebuilding. 6 months of watching Lily grow from a traumatized child into something stronger, something fiercer, something that reminded Ryan too much of himself. They'd settled in Montana, small town, population 800, the kind of place where everybody knew everybody and strangers stood out like sore thumbs. Perfect for seeing Santos's people coming. Perfect for disappearing. Ryan stood on the porch of their rented farmhouse watching Lily chase fireflies in the yard. Sarah sat on the steps beside him, coffee in her hands, exhaustion etched into every line of her face. She laughed today, Sarah said quietly. First time in weeks. I heard. She's getting better. Is she? Sarah looked at him. What's that supposed to mean? She shot a man, Sarah. She's 7 years old and she shot a man. That doesn't just go away. She saved my life. I know, and she'll carry that for the rest of hers. Ryan's jaw tightened. Because of me. Because I brought this into her world. You saved her world. You saved both of us. Did I? He turned to face her. Santos is still out there. Still hunting us. We can't use credit cards. Can't call our families. Can't even use our real names. What kind of life is that? It's life. That's more than we'd have if you hadn't found me. Sarah set down her coffee, took his hand. Stop punishing yourself for things you can't control. I could have killed him at the warehouse. I had him. I could have ended it. And Lily would have watched you execute a man in cold blood. Is that what you wanted? Ryan didn't answer. You made the right choice, Sarah said firmly. You chose to be the man she believes you are instead of the monster Santos wanted you to become. And now he's free, building his empire back, planning his revenge. So we stay ahead of him. We stay smart. We stay together. Sarah squeezed his hand. That's all we can do. The screen door creaked. Jessica stepped out, phone in her hand, face pale. Ryan, you need to see this. The news played on the small TV in the kitchen. Breaking suspected cartel activity in Northern California. 12 bodies found in abandoned warehouse. Ryan watched the footage. Police tape, body bags, federal agents swarming the scene. That's Santos, Jessica said. Has to be. Could be anyone. Look at the location. She pulled up a map on her phone. 30 miles from where we crossed into Oregon 6 months ago. He's tracking us. Ryan's blood chilled. How? I don't know, but he's getting closer. The phone in Ryan's pocket buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. Hello, Mr. Walker. Santos. How did you get this number? I have many resources. Surely you have learned that by now. Santos's voice was calm, pleasant, like they were discussing the weather. I wanted to congratulate you. 6 months is impressive. Most people they hunt don't last 6 weeks. What do you want? To offer you a deal. One final chance to end this peacefully. I'm listening. Sarah Brooks for your freedom. Send her to me and I'll call off the hunt. You can take the girl. Start over somewhere I'll never find you. Live out your days in peace. You want me to trade Sarah for my own life. I want the only witness who can still connect me to the trafficking operation. Everything else is negotiable. A pause. Think about it, Mr. Walker. You've lost brothers, friends, your entire way of life, all for a woman you barely knew 6 months ago. Is she really worth everything you've sacrificed? Ryan looked at Sarah, at the woman who'd become his partner, his family, his reason for fighting. Yeah, he said quietly, she is. Sentimental, disappointing. Santos sighed. Very well. I offered peace. You chose war. Remember that when the bodies start piling up. Santos. Yes. When I find you, and I will find you, I'm going to kill you. Not because of what you did to me, because of what you did to that little girl. Because you made her pick up a gun at 7 years old to protect her mother. Ryan's voice dropped to ice. That's unforgivable, and I'm going to make you pay for it. Silence. Then Santos laughed, soft, cold. I look forward to it, Mr. Walker. I truly do. Click. Ryan stared at the phone. What did he say? Jessica asked. He wants Sarah, offered to let the rest of us go if I hand her over. And what do you think? Jessica almost smiled. I think Santos doesn't know you very well. No, he doesn't. Ryan pocketed the phone. But he's about to learn. The War Council convened that night. Bones, Snake, Wires, the 4 remaining brothers who'd survived the farmhouse massacre. Plus 2 new faces. Marcus Cole, former DEA, forced out after he got too close to Santos's operation 3 years ago. He'd reached out to Ryan 2 months prior, offering intel in exchange for a chance at revenge. And Elena's sister, Rosa Vasquez, the witness Santos had assassinated. Rosa wanted blood. Ryan couldn't blame her. Here's what we know. Wires pulled up files on his laptop. Santos has rebuilt his network. New trafficking routes through Canada. New distribution centers in the Pacific Northwest. And new money, lots of it flowing in from overseas investors. Where is he? Ryan asked. That's the problem. He's never in one place, never follows a pattern. The man's a ghost. Ghosts can be found. Marcus leaned forward. I spent 3 years building a case against Santos. I know his weaknesses, which are his ego, his need for control, and his family. Ryan's head snapped up. Family. A daughter, Sophia Santos, 24 years old, lives in San Francisco under an assumed name. Santos sends her money every month through a series of shell companies. He's obsessed with protecting her. You want to use his daughter against him. I want to use whatever works. Marcus's eyes were hard. Santos killed my partner, destroyed my career, ruined my life. I don't care how we take him down. Only that we do. We're not kidnapping an innocent woman. She's not innocent. She knows exactly what her father does. She benefits from it. Lives in a penthouse paid for with blood money. I don't care. Ryan's voice cut like a blade. We're not Santos. We don't hurt civilians. We don't use innocent people as leverage. That's not who we are. Then who are we? Rosa spoke for the first time. Her voice was raw, broken. My sister was innocent. She testified because she thought it was the right thing to do, and Santos butchered her like an animal. Her eyes filled with tears. I want him dead, Mr. Walker. I don't care what it costs. I understand. I do. Ryan met her gaze. But if we become monsters to fight a monster, then Santos wins. Even if we kill him, he wins. The room fell silent. Then Bones spoke. So what do? We find another way. Santos has enemies, rivals, people he's betrayed over the years. We build alliances, gather intelligence, wait for him to make a mistake. And if he doesn't make a mistake, everyone makes mistakes. Ryan's jaw tightened. We just have to be patient. 2 weeks later, patience paid off. Wires intercepted a communication. Encrypted, heavily protected, but not protected enough. It's a meeting, Emo. Wires reported excitement barely contained. Santos and 3 of his top lieutenants. 2 days from now, Seattle. How reliable is this intel? Very. I cross-referenced with Marcus's DEA contacts. It's legit. Ryan studied the details. Location, time, security protocols. It's a trap, Bones said flatly. Has to be. Santos knows we're hunting him. This is too easy. Maybe he's gotten arrogant. Thinks we're no threat. Since when is Santos arrogant? Since he got away with everything. Ryan's eyes narrowed. He killed Chen, killed Elena, walked away clean. Men like that start believing they're untouchable. And if you're wrong, then we walk into a trap and we spring it. The team moved out at midnight. 6 men, 2 vehicles. Enough firepower to start a small war. Ryan left Sarah and Lily with Jessica at the farmhouse. Armed, barricaded, ready. Come back, Sarah whispered as he prepared to leave. Promise me. I promise. You keep saying that. And I keep coming back. He kissed her, being deep. I love you, Sarah. I love you too. She grabbed his jacket, pulled him close. Kill the bastard. End this. That's the plan. Lilith appeared at the top of the stairs, pajamas. Bunny clutched to her chest. Daddy Ryan. He went to her, knelt down. Hey, baby girl, you should be sleeping. I had a bad dream. Her eyes were huge, scared. I dreamed the bad men came and you didn't come home. Ryan felt his heart crack. That's not going to happen. How do you know? Because I promised, and I never break my promises to you. Lily studied his face, then nodded solemnly. Okay, I believe you. She hugged him tight. Ryan held her like she was the most precious thing in the world. Because she was. Be brave, Daddy Ryan. Always, baby girl. Always. Seattle greeted them with rain and fog. The meeting location was a restaurant. Upscale, private, the kind of place where criminal empires made deals over wine and appetizers. Ryan's team set up surveillance 2 blocks away. Eyes on the entrance. Wires reported through the earpiece. 3 vehicles just arrived. Looks like the lieutenants. Any sign of Santos? Negative. He's probably already inside. Came in through the back. Ryan checked his weapon. Stick to the plan. We wait until the meeting's over. Hit them when they're leaving. Isolated, vulnerable. And if Santos doesn't come out, then we go in after him. The next 2 hours were agony. Ryan watched through binoculars as men in expensive suits came and went. Guards patrolled the perimeter. Kitchen staff delivered food. Normal activity. Nothing suspicious. Too normal. Something's wrong, he muttered. What? I don't know. It feels off. Your gut talking. Yeah. Bones shifted beside him. Your guts kept us alive this long. What's it saying? Ryan scanned the area again. The restaurant, the guards, the vehicles. Then it hit him. The guards weren't watching the perimeter. They were watching the surrounding buildings. Watching for surveillance. Watching for him. It's a setup. Ryan grabbed his radio. Everyone pull back. Now, the first explosion rocked the building across the street, then the second, then the third. Ryan dove for cover as the world erupted into fire and chaos. When the dust cleared, two of his men were down, and Santos's voice crackled through his radio. Did you really think I didn't know you were coming, Mr. Walker? I've been watching you for weeks, feeding you false intelligence, leading you exactly where I wanted you. Ryan's blood boiled. Where are you? Close enough to watch you die, but not close enough for you to reach me. Santos laughed. This is the end, Mr. Walker. Not with a dramatic confrontation, not with a fair fight, just you and your friends bleeding out in an alley while I watch from a comfortable distance. You're a coward. I'm a survivor. There's a difference. A pause. Goodbye, Mr. Walker. Give my regards to your little family. I'll be visiting them next. The line went dead. Ryan's heart stopped. Lily, Sarah, Jessica. He grabbed his phone, dialed Jessica's number. No answer. Dialed again. No answer. No. His hand shook. No, no, no. Ryan! Bones grabbed his shoulder. We need to move, now. He's going after them. Santos. He's going after... I know, we need to get to them. Now, they ran. The drive back to Montana took 11 hours. 11 hours of silence. Fear. Rage. Ryan pushed his bike harder than he'd ever pushed it. 90, 100, 110. Every second felt like a lifetime. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Then he did. Ryan. Jessica's voice. Breathless. Terrified. But alive. Ryan, we're okay. We got out. Where are you? There was a warning system. Wires set it up. Perimeter sensors. They triggered 10 minutes before Santos's men arrived. We grabbed what we could and ran. Sarah Lily. Safe, scared, but safe. Ryan felt tears streaming down his face. Where are you now? The backup location. The cabin in Wyoming. Stay there, I'm coming. Ryan, Jessica's voice cracked. He burned the farmhouse. Everything we had. It's all gone. I don't care about things. I care about people. He wiped his face. Are you really okay? We're alive. That's enough. It's everything. Ryan took a shaking breath. I'm 12 hours out. Don't move until I get there. We won't. He hung up. Looked at Bones. They're safe. Thank God. Bones' shoulders sagged. What now? Now we stop running. Ryan's voice hardened. Santos wants a war. He's got one. No more hiding. No more waiting. We take the fight to him. How by him? I don't know yet, but I'm done being the hunted. It's time to become the hunter. The cabin was small. Isolated. Perfect. Ryan burst through the door like a man possessed. Lily ran to him before he'd taken 3 steps. Daddy, Ryan, he caught her, held her, crushed her against his chest. I'm here, baby girl. I'm here. The bad men came, but Miss Jessica knew. She got us out. Lily pulled back, looked at him with those 2 old eyes. Are you okay? You look sad. I'm not sad, I'm relieved. He kissed her forehead. I was so scared I'd lost you. You didn't lose me. You never will. She touched his face. We're family, remember? Family sticks together. Yeah, his voice cracked. Yeah, we do. Sarah appeared from the back room, pale, shaking, but alive. Ryan went to her, pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. Don't be. We're alive. That's what matters. I should have been here. Should have protected you. You couldn't be everywhere at once. She pulled back, met his eyes. This isn't your fault, Ryan. Santos is the monster, not you. I led him to you. No, he was always coming from the moment I saw what I saw at that truck stop. You're the only reason we're still breathing. Jessica joined them, arms crossed, face grim. We need to talk. All of us. They gathered in the main room, what was left of them. Ryan, Sarah, Lily, Jessica, Bones, Snake, Wires, 7 people against an empire. Santos is escalating, Jessica said. The farmhouse, the ambush in Seattle. He's not just hunting us anymore. He's trying to destroy us. He's been trying to destroy us since the beginning. No, before he wanted Sarah, wanted her silenced. Now it's personal. He wants to make us suffer. She looked at Ryan. Especially you. Why me? Because you humiliated him, broke his arm, took his hostages, made him look weak in front of his own people. Jessica's voice was quiet. Men like Santos can't tolerate weakness. He'll burn the world down to prove he's still in control. So what do? We give him what he wants. Everyone stared at her. Explain, Ryan said. Santos wants a confrontation, a chance to prove his dominance. So we give him one, on our terms. You want to fight him head-on with 7 people? No, I want to trap him. Jessica pulled out a folder. I've been working with Marcus's contacts, building a case, documenting Santos's network, his operations, his connections. For what? For this. She spread papers across the table. A full federal indictment, trafficking, murder, conspiracy, enough charges to put Santos away for 100 lifetimes. The feds already tried that. They failed. Because they didn't have what we have. Jessica pointed at Sarah, an eyewitness who can place Santos at the scene of trafficking activity. Plus, she pointed at Ryan, a dozen testimonies from rescued victims who can identify Santos's enforcers. The victims we saved at the warehouse. Exactly, I've been in contact with several of them. They're willing to testify with proper protection. Jessica leaned forward. Santos thinks he won when he killed Elena Vasquez, but Elena was only one piece of the puzzle. We have enough pieces to complete the picture without her, Mom. Santos will never let it get to trial. He'll kill everyone who tries to testify. Not if we get him first. Jessica's eyes gleamed. We leak information to Santos, make him think Sarah is about to testify. He'll come for her personally. His ego won't allow anything else. And when he does, we spring the trap. Using Sarah as bait. Using all of us as bait. But with federal backup this time. Real backup. Not one compromised agent. A full tactical team. How do we know they won't be compromised too? Because I reached out to someone Santos can't touch. Jessica smiled grimly. The director of the FBI himself, old friend of Marcus's from their academy days. He's agreed to personally oversee the operation. Off the books. Need to know only. Ryan looked at the papers, the plans, the possibility of ending this nightmare once and for all. It's risky. Everything we've done has been risky. This is just risk with a plan. And if it fails, then we die fighting instead of hiding. Jessica met his eyes. I'm tired of running, Ryan, aren't you? He thought about it, thought about 6 months of fear, of watching Lily flinch at loud noises, of sleeping with one eye open. Yeah, he said finally, I am. Then let's end this. The plan took 3 weeks to set up, 3 weeks of preparations, coordination, secret meetings, 3 weeks of watching Lily slowly start to smile again. She'd been having nightmares, every night, screaming for her mother, screaming for Ryan, reliving the moment she'd pulled that trigger. But gradually, slowly, the nightmares faded. Daddy Ryan, she found him on the porch one evening cleaning his gun. Yeah, baby girl, are you scared? About what? About the bad man, Mr. Santos. She sat beside him. Mama says you're going to stop him. Forever. That's the plan. What if it doesn't work? Ryan set down his weapon, looked at her. Then I'll make another plan, and another until he's gone. Why, Fa? Why what? Why do you fight so hard for us? We're not even your real family. Ryan felt his heart break. You are my real family, Lily. You and your mama. That's not about blood. It's about love. He took her small hand in his. Before you came along, I was lost, angry, broken. You saved me, baby girl. You showed me I could be something more than a monster. You're not a monster. I was, for a long time. But you made me want to be better. He squeezed her hand. That's why I fight. Because you're worth fighting for, both of you. Lily was quiet for a moment, then, Mama says you're going to be my daddy for real. After this is over. She says you're getting him to marry her and be a real family. Ryan blinked. She said that, She made me promise not to tell. Lily grinned. Oops. Yeah, oops. But Ryan was smiling too. Would you like that? Me being your real daddy. You're already my real daddy. Lily hugged him tight. I don't need a piece of paper to know that. Ryan held her close. Whatever happened next, whatever Santos threw at them, he would protect this child, even if it was the last thing he ever did. The day of reckoning arrived. Clear sky, cold wind, perfect visibility. The location was an abandoned factory outside Salt Lake City, chosen specifically for its isolation, its multiple entry and exit points, its perfect sight lines for snipers. Federal teams were positioned at every approach, hidden, waiting. And in the center of the factory, visible through every window, Sarah Brooks sat at a table, alone. Bait. Ryan watched from a sniper position 200 yards away, every nerve screaming. I don't like this, he muttered into his radio. None of us do, Jessica replied, but it's the only way. If anything happens to her, nothing's going to happen. We've got her covered from every angle. Santos is smart. He'll have a contingency. So will we. Movement at the south entrance. Contact, wires reported. 3 vehicles. Incoming. Ryan's finger found his trigger. The vehicle stopped. Doors opened. Men emerged, armed, professional, and then stepping out of the lead vehicle, Victor Santos himself, smaller than Ryan remembered, grayer. But those eyes, those cold, dead eyes were the same. He's here, Ryan breathed. Hold position, Jessica ordered. We wait until he's inside. Santos walked toward the factory, alone. His men stayed with the vehicles, arrogant, confident. Exactly as Jessica had predicted, he pushed open the factory door, stepped inside. Target is in the building, Jessica reported. All teams prepare to move on my signal. Ryan watched through his scope as Santos approached Sarah. Mrs. Brooks, Santos's voice echoed through the empty space. We meet at last. I'm not afraid of you. No, you should be. Santos circled her slowly. I've killed a lot of people to protect my business. You're just one more. Then why am I still alive? Because I wanted to see your face. Santos stopped in front of her. To see the woman who's caused me so much trouble. You and that biker. His name is Ryan. I know his name. I know everything about him, his childhood, his trauma, his pathetic attempt at redemption. Santos smiled. Did you really think you could hurt me, a waitress and a motorcycle thug against an empire? We've done pretty well so far. You've been an annoyance, nothing more. Santos pulled out a gun, and now the annoyance ends. Now, Jessica's voice crackled. Everything happened at once. Doors burst open. Federal agents poured in from every entrance. FBI, drop your weapon, get on the ground, Santos spun, saw the trap closing around him, and smiled. Did you really think I didn't know? He raised his gun, not at Sarah, at himself. No, Ryan screamed. Santos pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. Empty. The gun was empty. Santos stared at the weapon in confusion. Looking for these, Jessica stepped out of the shadows holding a magazine. We swapped them 2 hours ago while your men were distracted. Impossible. Not impossible, just thorough. She nodded to the agents. Take him. They swarmed Santos, forced him to his knees, cuffed his hands, and Ryan watched as the monster who'd haunted his nightmares for 6 months was finally brought down. It was over. They'd won. The aftermath was chaos. Federal agents, reporters, helicopters. But Ryan didn't see any of it. He ran to Sarah, pulled her into his arms. Are you okay? I'm fine. She was crying, laughing. Both at once. We did it, Ryan, we did it. You were incredible. I was terrified. Same thing. They held each other as Santos was led away, defiant to the end, screaming threats that nobody listened to. It's over, Sarah whispered. It's really over. Yeah, Ryan kissed her forehead. It is. But even as he said the words, he knew it wasn't quite true. Santos was captured. His network was crumbling. The victims would get justice, but there was still one thing left to do, one question that needed an answer. Sarah. Yeah, Ryan pulled back, looked into her eyes. When this all started, you were just someone who needed help. A stranger whose daughter knocked on my door. I remember. Somewhere along the way, you became everything to me. You and Lily, my reason for fighting, my reason for living. Ryan, let me finish. He took a breath. I'm not a good man. I've done terrible things, but you make me want to be better. You make me believe I can be better. He took her hands. So I need to ask you something. What? When this is all over, when the trials are done and the dust settles, will you marry me? Sarah stared at him, tears streaming down her face. Lily told you. She might have mentioned something, Sarah laughed, cried, pulled him into a kiss that felt like coming home. Yes, she whispered against his lips. Yes, yes, yes. They held each other as the sun began to set. Around them, a world they'd fought so hard to survive kept turning. And somewhere in Montana, a little girl was waiting for her daddy to come home. The trial lasted 3 months. 3 months of testimony, evidence, witnesses parading through the courtroom to tell their stories. Ryan sat in the gallery every single day, front row, never moving, never looking away. He wanted Santos to see him, wanted the man to know that every victim he'd created was watching, waiting, demanding justice. Sarah testified on the 47th day. She walked to the stand with her head held high. No trembling, no tears, just cold, hard determination. Mrs. Brooks, the prosecutor, approached her slowly. Can you tell the court what you witnessed on the night of March 15th? I saw men loading people into trucks. Behind the Desert Rose truck stop, they were crying, begging. Some of them were children. Sarah's voice was steady. I saw the defendant, Victor Santos, giving orders, counting the victims like merchandise. And what happened when you were discovered? His men broke into my apartment, beat me, kidnapped me, threatened to kill my daughter if I ever spoke about what I saw. Your daughter is how old? She was 6 at the time, 7 now. A murmur rippled through the courtroom. The defense attorney stood. Slick, expensive, the kind of lawyer who made careers defending the indefensible. Mrs. Brooks, isn't it true that you have a personal relationship with Ryan Walker, the leader of a notorious motorcycle gang? The Hells Angels. Yes. And isn't it true that Mr. Walker has a criminal record: assault, battery, suspected involvement in organized crime? That's not relevant to what I witnessed. I think it's very relevant. Your testimony could be influenced by what? Sarah cut him off. By the man who saved my life, who rescued me and 42 other victims from your client's warehouse, who raised my daughter as his own while we were running for our lives. Mrs. Brooks, I know what I saw. Sarah's voice rose. I know what your client did, and no amount of expensive lawyers or legal tricks is going to change that. The courtroom fell silent. The judge cleared his throat. The witness will answer only the questions asked, but the damage was done. Ryan could see it in the jury's faces. They believed her. Santos sat at the defense table, face carved from stone. But his eyes, those cold, dead eyes, burned with fury. He knew he was losing. The verdict came on a Tuesday. Guilty on all counts: trafficking, murder, conspiracy, racketeering, 147 years, no possibility of parole. When the judge read the sentence, Santos didn't flinch, didn't react, just turned slowly and found Ryan's eyes in the gallery. The look he gave was pure hatred, pure venom. Ryan met it without blinking. Then Santos was led away, chains on his wrists, guards at his sides. And just like that, the monster was gone. Sarah grabbed Ryan's hand, squeezed tight. It's over, she whispered. Yeah. Ryan watched the doors close behind Santos. It really is. They walked out of the courthouse into a wall of cameras and reporters. Mr. Walker, how does it feel to see Santos convicted? Mrs. Brooks, will you be writing a book about your experience? Ryan ignored them all, pushed through the crowd, found Bones waiting by the bikes. Hell of a day, Bones said. Hell of a year. What now? Ryan looked at Sarah, at the woman who'd changed everything, who'd walked into his life through her daughter's desperate knock and turned his world upside down. Now we live, he said, actually live, for the first time in a long time. The wedding happened 6 weeks later, small, private, in the backyard of the Montana cabin they'd bought after the trial. Lily was the flower girl. She took her duties very seriously. "You have to throw the petals like this," she instructed the other kids from the neighborhood who'd become her friends. Not too fast, not too slow, perfect. Jessica was the maid of honor. Bones was the best man. And Ryan stood at the makeshift altar, heart pounding harder than it ever had in any firefight. Sarah appeared at the end of the aisle, white dress, flowers in her hair, the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. "Breathe," Bones whispered, trying. "You look like you're about to pass out." "Feel like it too." But when Sarah reached him, when she took his hands and smiled that smile, everything else disappeared. The minister spoke, words about love, commitment, building a life together. Ryan barely heard any of it. All he could see was Sarah. All he could feel was her hands in his. "Do you, Ryan Walker, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do." "And do you, Sarah Brooks, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?" "I do." "Then by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife." The minister smiled. "You may kiss the bride." Ryan pulled Sarah close, kissed her like the world was ending. The small crowd erupted in cheers. Bones whistled. Jessica cried, and Lily ran forward, throwing herself into their arms. "We're a real family now." She was crying and laughing at the same time. A real family. Ryan held them both, his wife, his daughter. For 37 years, he'd been running from love, building walls, keeping people out. In one moment, all those walls came crashing down. And for the first time in his life, Ryan Walker felt whole. The adoption papers came through 3 months after the wedding. Official, legal, permanent. Lily Walker. Ryan stared at the document for a long time. His name, her name, bound together by law. "You okay?" Sarah found him in his office, papers spread across his desk. "Yeah, just," he shook his head. "It's real now. It was always real." "I know, but this makes it official, permanent." He looked up at her. "What if I mess it up? What if I'm not good enough?" "You're already a better father than most men who've been doing it for years." Sarah sat on the edge of his desk. "Lily adores you, trusts you completely. That's not something you can fake." "I've never done this before. Never had a family. Never. Neither have I." Sarah took his hand. "We figure it out together. That's what family means." "Daddy," Lily's voice rang through the house. "Daddy, come look." Ryan glanced at Sarah. "What now?" "Only one way to find out." They found Lily in the backyard, standing next to a cardboard box with holes punched in the sides. "What's in the box, baby girl?" "I found him behind the garage." Lily lifted the lid carefully. "He was all alone, just like I was before you found me." Inside the box was a puppy, scraggly, dirty, ribs showing through matted fur. "Can we keep him? Please, please, please." Ryan looked at Sarah. She shrugged. "He does look pretty pathetic." "He's not pathetic, he's beautiful." Lily scooped up the puppy. "I'm going to call him Reaper, like you, Daddy, because he's tough on the outside but soft on the inside." Ryan burst out laughing, couldn't help it. "Did you just call me soft?" "On the inside." Lily grinned. "That's the best kind of soft." Sarah was laughing too. "She's got you there." Ryan knelt down, looked at the puppy, at his daughter, at the life they were building together. "Okay," he said, "Reaper Jr. can stay." Lily squealed and threw her arms around his neck. "Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you." "You're welcome, baby girl. I love you. I love you too." And watching his daughter dance around the yard with her new puppy, Ryan felt something he'd almost forgotten existed. Pure, uncomplicated joy. 1 year passed, then 2. The nightmares faded, the fear receded. Life settled into something that almost felt normal. Lily started 2nd grade, made friends, brought home report cards that made Ryan's chest swell with pride. Sarah went back to work. Not waitressing, she'd had enough of that. She became a victim's advocate at the local shelter, helping women and children who'd escaped situations like hers. And Ryan transformed too. The Hells Angels Reno chapter was gone, disbanded after the trial. Too much heat and too much history, but in its place something new emerged. The Guardian Angels Project. It started small. Ryan and Bones helping a single mother escape her abusive husband. Then another family, then another. Word spread. Other bikers, men with similar pasts, similar regrets, reached out, wanted to help. Within 2 years, the project had chapters in 6 states, motorcycle clubs partnering with law enforcement, social services, and community organizations to protect vulnerable families. You've built something incredible, Jessica told him during a planning meeting, something that's actually making a difference. It's not enough. It's never enough. That's not the point. She slid a folder across the table. We got another referral. Woman in Idaho, 3 kids, husbands connected to a trafficking network. Santos's old operation. Remnants of it. The feds dismantled most of it, but some pieces are still floating around. Ryan studied the file. 3 children. The youngest was Lily's age. When do we move? Tomorrow if you're in. I'm always in. The Idaho operation went smoothly. The woman and her children were extracted without incident, relocated to a safe house, given new identities, new lives. Another family saved, another cycle broken. Ryan came home to find Lily waiting on the porch. 8 years old now. Long brown hair, her mother's eyes. Did you help them, Daddy, the kids you went to save? Yeah, baby girl. We helped them. Good. She fell into step beside him as they walked inside. I told my friend Emma about what you do. She thinks you're a superhero. I'm not a superhero. I know, you're better. Lily looked up at him with that too wise gaze. Superheroes are made up. You're real. Ryan didn't know what to say to that. I made you something. Lily pulled a piece of paper from her pocket. For Father's Day. I know it's not for another week, but I couldn't wait. She handed him a drawing, crayon on construction paper. It showed 3 figures, a man with a motorcycle, a woman with long hair, a little girl between them holding both their hands. Underneath in careful handwriting, my family, the best family in the whole world. Ryan's vision blurred. Do you like it? I love it. His voice cracked. It's the best present anyone's ever given me. Better than a motorcycle. 1,000,000 times better. Lily beamed. I'm going to make you one every year, so you never forget how much I love you. I could never forget that, baby girl. Never. He hung the drawing in his office, right next to the wooden horse he'd carved 37 years ago. 2 artifacts from 2 different childhoods. One defined by trauma, one defined by love. The call came on a Thursday night. Ryan was reading Lily a bedtime story, their ritual unbroken for 2 years, when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. Then something made him answer. Mr. Walker, a voice he didn't recognize. This is Warden Morrison at the Federal Correctional Complex in Florence, Colorado. Ryan's blood chilled. What do you want? I'm calling to inform you that Victor Santos died this evening. Heart attack. The medical team did everything they could, but he's dead. Yes, sir. Given your history with the deceased, we thought you should know. Ryan sat in silence for a long moment. Santos, dead. The monster who'd haunted his nightmares, who'd threatened his family, who'd killed his brothers. Gone. Just like that. Mr. Walker, are you still there? Yes, I'm here. Ryan took a breath. Thanks for letting me know. He hung up, stared at the phone. Daddy, Lily's voice small and worried. Who was that? Nobody important, baby girl. You look sad. I'm not sad, I'm just, he searched for the right word, processing. What does that mean? It means something happened that I need to think about. Lily studied his face, then nodded solemnly. Okay, can we finish the story? Ryan looked at his daughter, at her innocent face, her trusting eyes. Santos was dead. The nightmare was truly over. And somehow, improbably beautifully, life went on. Yeah, he said, pulling her close. Let's finish the story. Sarah found him on the porch later that night. I heard, she said, sitting beside him. Bones called. He saw it on the news. Yeah. How do you feel? Ryan thought about it, really thought. Empty, he finally said. I expected to feel, I don't know, relieved, happy, but I just feel empty. That makes sense, does it? You spent 2 years fighting him, running from him, building your whole life around surviving him. Sarah took his hand. Now he's gone, and you have to figure out who you are without that fight. I know who I am. Do you? Ryan looked at her. At this woman who'd seen him at his worst and loved him anyway. I'm Lily's father, he said slowly. Your husband. A man who's trying to be better than he was. And I run an organization that helps people who can't help themselves. I have brothers who would die for me and who I'd die for. He paused. I have a life, a real life, for the first time ever. Then maybe that's your answer. Sarah squeezed his hand. Santos defined who you were for 2 years. Now you get to define yourself on your own terms. I don't know if I know how to do that. Then we'll figure it out together. She leaned her head on his shoulder. That's what we do, remember. They sat in silence for a long time, watching the stars, breathing the mountain air, and slowly, gradually, the emptiness began to fill with something else. Peace, real lasting peace. The 5th anniversary of Lily's arrival hit different. Ryan woke early, before dawn, before anyone else in the house was stirring. He made coffee, sat on the porch, watched the sun rise over the mountains. 5 years. 5 years since a terrified 6-year-old knocked on his clubhouse door and changed everything. You're up early. Sarah appeared beside him, wrapped in a robe, coffee cup in hand. Couldn't sleep. Nightmares. No, just thinking. About how different everything is. How different I am. He shook his head. 5 years ago, I was a man with nothing to lose. Now I have everything. That's not a bad thing. I know, it just... He struggled to find the words. Sometimes I'm afraid I'll wake up and it'll all be gone, like it was just a dream. It's not a dream. Sarah sat beside him. I'm real. Lily's real. This life is real. I know. Oh, do you? Ryan looked at her. Really looked. I used to think I didn't deserve happiness, he said quietly. That I'd done too many bad things, hurt too many people. That any good in my life was borrowed time. And now I think, he paused. I think maybe we all deserve a second chance. Maybe the past doesn't have to define us. Maybe we can choose who we want to be. That's quite a change. Lily changed me. You changed me. He took her hand. Before you, I was just surviving. Now I'm actually living. Daddy! Lily's voice rang out from inside the house. Daddy, come quick! Ryan was on his feet instantly. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, just come. He exchanged a glance with Sarah. She shrugged. They found Lily in the living room, standing next to a large poster board covered in photos and drawings. What's this, baby girl? It's our anniversary. Lily bounced on her heels. 5 years since I found you, I made a scrapbook of all our memories. Ryan approached the board slowly. Photos of their first Christmas together, Lily's first day of school, the wedding, the adoption, birthdays, holidays, 1,000 small moments captured in time. I started making it last year, Lily explained, but I kept it secret. Do you like it? Ryan couldn't speak. His throat was too tight. Daddy, are you crying? Oh, no, well. He wiped his eyes. Maybe a little. Is it happy crying or sad crying? Happy, definitely happy. Lily grinned and threw her arms around him. I love you, Daddy, more than anything in the whole world. I love you too, baby girl, more than you'll ever know. Sarah joined the hug. The three of them stood there holding each other. A family, a real family, built from tragedy, strengthened by love. The doorbell rang. Ryan frowned. They weren't expecting anyone. I'll get it. Sarah headed for the door. She opened it to find Bones standing on the porch. Behind him, a little boy, maybe 7 years old, dirty, scared, clutching a backpack like it was his only possession. Sorry to drop by unannounced, Bones said, but we got a situation. Ryan approached, looked at the boy, saw the fear in his eyes, the bruises on his arms. What happened? His name's Michael. He showed up at the Salt Lake chapter 3 hours ago. His sister's been taken. Same pattern as... Bones glanced at Lily. Same pattern as before. Ryan knelt down to Michael's level. Hey, buddy, I'm Ryan. Can you tell me about your sister? Michael's chin wobbled. Bad men took her. They said if I told anyone they'd hurt her worse. His voice cracked. But I had to try. I had to find someone to help. Ryan felt the familiar fire ignite in his chest. Some things never changed. There were always monsters, always victims, always people who needed help. But now there were also people willing to fight back. You did the right thing, Ryan told Michael. Coming to us. That was very brave. Can you help her? Can you find my sister? Ryan looked at Lily, at the little girl who'd stood in this exact position 5 years ago, who'd asked the same question, who'd changed everything. Yeah, buddy. He stood up. We can help. Lily appeared at his side, touched Michael's arm gently. It's okay, she said with the quiet authority of someone who understood fear intimately. My daddy and his friends help kids who are in trouble. You're safe now. Michael looked at her, at Ryan, at this strange family that had opened their door to a stranger. Really? Oh, really? And Lily smiled. You found the right place. Ryan watched his daughter comfort the terrified boy, saw the compassion in her eyes, the strength. She'd been broken once, traumatized, afraid. Now she was the one giving hope to others. The cycle continued, but in a different direction. Trauma didn't have to create more trauma. Pain didn't have to create more pain. Sometimes if you were lucky, if you fought hard enough, you could transform darkness into light. Bones, Ryan's voice was steady. Call the team. We move in 2 hours. You got it. And Bones, yeah. We're bringing his sister home. The operation took 4 days. 4 days of surveillance, planning, coordination with federal partners. 4 days of Michael staying at the Walker house, Lily showing him around, introducing him to Reaper Jr., helping him feel safe. And then finally the rescue. 12 guardian angels, 3 federal agents, 1 terrified 11-year-old girl who hadn't seen sunlight in 2 weeks. Ryan carried her out himself, felt her thin arms wrap around his neck, heard her whisper, thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over. Another family saved, another cycle broken. When they returned home, Michael was waiting on the porch. The second he saw his sister, he burst into tears. Emma, Michael. They collided in the driveway, held each other, sobbed. Ryan watched from a distance, Sarah beside him, Lily holding his hand. You did good, Sarah said quietly. We did good. Does it ever get easier seeing what these kids go through? No, Ryan shook his head, and I hope it never does. The day it stops hurting is the day I stop being human. You're more human than anyone I've ever known. That's because of you. Both of you. He looked at his wife, his daughter. You taught me what humanity actually means. That night, after Michael and Emma were safely placed with relatives, Ryan found himself back on the porch. His spot, his thinking place. Lily appeared beside him. Pajamas. Bunny clutched to her chest, still the same one-eared bunny from all those years ago. Can't sleep, baby girl. I was thinking. About what? About Michael, about how scared he was. She climbed into the chair next to him. I remembered being that scared, before I found you. I remember too. But then I found you, and everything got better. She looked at him with those 2 wise eyes. That's why you do what you do, isn't it? So other kids can find their someone too. Ryan felt tears burning behind his eyes. Yeah, baby girl, that's exactly why. I want to help. When I'm bigger, I want to help kids like me find their someones. I know you will. How do you know? Because you're the bravest person I've ever met. You always have been. He pulled her close. From the moment you knocked on that door, soaking wet, scared out of your mind, asking a bunch of strangers to save your mama. That took courage most adults don't have. I was just scared. Courage isn't not being scared. It's being scared and doing the right thing anyway. Lily smiled. Mama told me that once. Your mama's a smart lady. She is. Lily snuggled against his chest. I'm glad you married her. Me too, baby girl. Me too. They sat in silence for a while, father and daughter, watching the stars. Daddy. Yeah. Tell me the story about the night I found you. Ryan smiled. He'd told this story 100 times, 1,000 times. It never got old. Once upon a time, he began. On a dark and stormy night, a very brave little girl knocked on the door of some very rough men who didn't know they needed saving. Oh, and what happened? The rough men discovered that being tough doesn't mean being hard, that real strength comes from love, not violence. That family isn't about blood, it's about choice. And then, and then they became a family, a real family, and they lived happily ever after. Ryan looked at his daughter, at the woman sleeping inside the house, at the life he'd built from the ashes of everything he'd been. Not happily ever after, he said. That's for fairy tales, but they lived fully, honestly, with love and purpose and meaning. They made mistakes and forgave each other. They fought and made up. They built something beautiful from something broken. That's better than happily ever after. Yeah, baby girl, it is. Lily yawned, snuggled closer. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, baby girl, more than all the stars in the sky. More than motorcycles. More than all the motorcycles in the world. She smiled, closed her eyes, and Ryan held her as she drifted off to sleep. Above them, the stars burned bright against the darkness. Once Ryan Walker had been a man defined by violence, by trauma, by the scars of a childhood that had nearly destroyed him. Now he was something else. A husband, a father, a protector. A man who'd learned that the deepest strength comes not from hardness, but from love. It had taken 47 years, countless mistakes, unimaginable loss. But he'd finally found what he'd been searching for his entire life. Home, not a place, not a building, a feeling, a connection, a bond that couldn't be broken. The little girl who'd knocked on his door 5 years ago had given him that gift, and he would spend the rest of his life being worthy of it, because that's what family does. That's what love does. It transforms monsters into men, strangers into family, and broken things into something whole. Ryan Walker had spent 37 years believing he was beyond redemption. Lily Brooks had proven him wrong with 3 small knocks, and now holding his daughter under a canopy of stars, he finally understood the truth that had eluded him his entire life. We are not defined by the darkness we come from. We are defined by the light we choose to become. And Ryan Walker, father, husband, protector, had chosen to become light forever.